Alright, YouTube, here is a few photos. I don't have screen capture on my computer or anything like that, so I'm just kind of like recording the screen here. But even though I did say what I said about the Pentax HD FA Star 50mm lens and how huge it is and stuff like that, and how I really don't like shooting with it all that much, but when I like when it come down to me having to do professional work, it is my most favorite lens other than the DFA 28 to 105. But the 50mm is an awesome lens. I mean, like, I literally need to go in and straighten up her face because it records so much detail. And I really wish I could do screen capture on my computer, which I probably can, but like I just don't have it set up like that. It is an awesome lens that renders nicely. This is it at f1.8. Like I was saying in the video, I don't always use it at f1.4 because like when I'm doing professional work and like we're on a time frame and I have to make sure that I get the shot in focus today and not almost or probably or a tip of the nose or anything like that. It's like I want the shot in focus now, and I don't have time to fiddle around with gear and change settings and make sure that the camera's doing what I'm asking it to do. I just need it in focus right now. I need it to be sharp, and I don't want to have to go back and post and say oh man, I wish I would have stopped down a little bit, or oh man, like my lens needed a micro focus adjustment, or oh man, like my camera setting didn't work fast enough for me. So it's like when it comes down to doing professional work, it's like having the ability to use f1.4 is great. It being sharp at f1.4 is great, but I still want to stop down just a tad bit just to make sure I'm getting the maximum performance out of my lens right now, so that way he can move on and this family can get more shots and stuff like that. I also use my new 35 f2 in a lot of these pictures, but I'm gonna kind of save that for another video. This was the first shot that we did right here. This was my 51.4 at f2.8. Like I said, like a lot of people say that you buy f1.4 lenses, just to use them at f1.4, and it's like that's not necessarily true because f1.4 wouldn't have worked out in this shot. So another thing that we have to realize is that we don't always need the fastest glass. We just need some good glass. So like even if I would have had a 50mm macro f2.8, that would have been perfect for this shoot, and it wouldn't have done me any less justice than using my 51.4, because I didn't even use 1.4 for this. I didn't use flash. I just shot natural light. I brought my strobes, but I didn't want to use them because it was raining on and off, and then we went into the public library and I just didn't want to set up light stands and stuff like that. But f2.8 worked out perfectly in this shot. I don't think I used f1.4 this whole this whole shoot. I mean, this shoot lasted about an hour and a half. I don't think I used f1.4 at all. So like even if you get a lens that's not sharp wide open, how often are you ever gonna need to use it wide open? Like this is still f2.8. A cheaper 51.8 would have been great for this shoot, but still having the ability to go down to f1.4 is great. It's just that like when it actually come down to doing professional work, like you're not gonna always want to use it wide open anyway, or you're not really gonna be able to, because like you want the shot and you want it in focus and you want your lens to work today. And before I bought the DFA Star 51.4, I was actually hesitating between buying that one lens, buying the DA Star 55, which wasn't sharp wide open, but my thing about that was that I heard that it had inconsistent focus issues, and that's just one thing that I can't go for, like when I'm doing a shoot like this, because like let's just say like this shot was severely out of focus. I don't have another shot that looked like this, and his family would have been out of a great portrait because of something like that. And I was torn between either buying the 50-1.4 DFA, the 55-1.4 DA, or the 35 f2 DFA along with the 55 DA, or along with the DFA 52.8 macro. So I ended up going back to buy the 35 f2 anyway, but still, like even if I would have went with the 50 macro, that would have been great. I shot this at f2, so like if you got an f1.4 lens that's not sharp at f1.4, it's like, how often are you ever gonna want to go that wide and it be good for what you're shooting? I had a lot of shots. I got even some shots I'm probably not gonna give them. We were just kind of playing around. Everybody don't get every picture. A lot of these pictures we just kind of play around with. I was done with the 50 at f2.2, and even then at f2.2, I still slightly had him out of focus, and she was in good focus. So like even with an f1.4 lens that might not be sharp wide open, still, if you want the shot today and you want it to work, it's not really even gonna be called for to use it wide open at f1.4 anyway. So a lot of times, you know, like a lot of people get torn about gear, like, oh, but it's not sharp wide open, and you buy an f1.4 lens to use it at f1.4. It's like, no, you just really don't. I mean, like, you buy an f1.4 lens because you have the ability to use it if you ever had to go there. If you ever had to go there. But even during this whole shoot, I never had to go there. I mean, that's at f1.8. And I still don't have both of these people in perfect focus, but it really didn't matter for this because I wanted that whole background back there blurred out. So I was just kind of torn between getting both of them sharp and having too much background back there, or just not really caring about them being both bloody sharp and making the picture look a little bit more buttery smooth in the background. So I mean, like, having f1.4, you got the ability to choose between doing stuff like that. But I mean, even then, this was at f1.8. You know what I mean? So this picture, we were just kind of, you know, just playing around. This is at f4 with the 51.4. And this was on, like, you know, a paid shoot. So like, even if I had a lens that wasn't bloody sharp wide open, I probably would have never even really, like, been able to, you know, like, been able to be like, what do you call it? It probably wouldn't have mattered anyway, because this whole shoot I didn't use my lens wide open. And I really don't even know why I'm even saying this, but I mean, this is just kind of to back up my point behind the 51.4. And if you even really need a perfect lens, like, you don't really always need a perfect lens. Like there's some times when you do, in situations like this, I probably might call for like something like that as far as my options in Pentax. But like, if Pentax had a another, like another lens that I could pick from that actually focused consistently, then I probably would have went, or like with another lens. But that was really my only option. If I had another option, I probably wouldn't have even had bought the DFA Star 51.4. But as far as all my options in Pentax, that's kind of what I had. I needed something that was going to be able to work today and focus consistently, and it really just don't have to be perfect. I mean, chromatic aberration, like all of that stuff just really don't matter. I mean, I know a lot of times we sit back and pixel peep and we look at individual flaws of the lens, and it's like, in the real world, when like you actually go down, to like when it actually come down to being able to get a professional shoot done, all of them little tiny things like, oh, chromatic aberration, or oh, the autofocus might just be a little loud. And I mean, like, this is the 35 f2 to DFA, or 35 f2. The software is registered as the older FA AL, but it's technically the same exact lens. But I mean, I'm not here to make a review on that lens, but this is just to say that, like, a lot of times, man, like, we make a big fuss out of how perfect a lens is, and especially how perfect it is wide open. And it's like, all of that stupid stuff just really don't matter. I mean, this is a 35 f2. I used at 3.5. If I would have had a 35 1.4, I would have been using it at 3.5. So I might as well had, went the less expensive route, because I barely even used that lens at f2 during this shoot. I don't even know what I even want to call this video, but this is just a rant about, a lot of times, like, we just make complaints over, oh, this lens isn't that great because it has the slightest bit of chromatic aberration wide open. It's like, okay, like, when it come down to making money with the gear, like, will those individual things matter? And sometimes actually owning a lens that's not so perfect will benefit you more than not buying it because it's just not so perfect. But I mean, that's pretty much it, man. The 51.4 is great, but it's perfect wide open. But like during this whole shoot, when it came down to actually making money with the gear, it was never used wide open. So it being perfect wide open just kind of really don't matter sometimes. It might matter to certain kinds of people. Like, if this was a one-person shoot, I probably would have went wide open at least once or twice during, this series of 61 photos. But then, even then, when I did have one person, I'm at f1.8 because I don't have time for the possibility of him being far out of focus, or I just need it to work right, like right now. So, and that's excellent sharpness at f1.8, and f1.8 is not that far from f1.4. It's just really not. If I took the same shot at f1.4 and the same shot at f1.8, I mean, the difference would have been so minor to where you would have really believed they were the same picture. But that's just about it, man. You don't really need the most perfect lenses out there. Just get you one, make some money with it, and forget about them stupid flaws. Oh, it's chromatic aberration on the fingernails. We need a better lens. It's like, man, that's just stupid, man. All of it is just stupid. That's with the 100 macro. Anyways, I don't know, man. Just get you a lens. a decent lens at least, whether it's sharp wide open or not. Just go out and take some pictures with it.